Have you ever looked at all the gear musicians use and wonder, how does it all work? My name's Dustin, and my family and I are setting out on a quest to inspire both adult and kid musicians to create new sounds together and learn all about what it takes to produce great music. We'd like to invite you along on the journey as we explore the gear professional studios, musicians, and hobbyists use to create their art. We'll take a close-up look at the gear and ask,
what's this button do?
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of What's This Button Do? I'm your host Dustin, and today we are going to be looking at a really killer new pedal from our friends over at Keeley. They've got a new pedal called the Octa Psi, and this is a mix of an octave controller with fuzz, and it can get crazy harmonies that I have never heard before. So we got one of these in the studio. I thought this would be a perfect time to show everybody some of the little secret tips and tricks out there that I found as we record in the studio to mess around and let you hear some crazy wonky sounds that this thing can create. So jump over to the pedal board with me and let's take a listen. All right, for today's video, we are going to be running through the trusty Scythe OH20 here. Going to be staying mostly in the bridge pickup, I think, today, to let you guys really hear the sounds of the fuzz and some of these crazy settings on here. But I'll tell you if I bounce back and forth on here. So the Octa Psi, there's tons of demos out there. I'm not going to go through every single bell and feature today because there's lots of stuff out there, but there's a few things that I think haven't been pointed out enough, and I really want to highlight those today because there are some amazing sounds hidden in plain sight on this pedal, and I want you to be able to experience those. So let me let you hear a little bit of my clean tone here. We're going to turn everything up. All right, so let's look at the fuzz side of the Octave Fuzz first, because by itself, this is a great fuzz. It's clean, not clean, it's got a good crisp sound to it, but I want you to hear what it sounds like. So I'm gonna start with the tone in the middle, level kind of up a little bit, and there's a little switch here, punch, sigh, and scoop. We're gonna kind of go through that a little bit and talk about what each of those mean as we go through the pedal itself. But we'll just start out in the sigh mode, which is the middle section. And I'm gonna just turn up the fuzz to about 9 o'clock and let you hear it. Good, gritty fuzz. My volume and my tone are turned all the way up right now. Now let's bring the tone up, because I want you to hear, if we bring it all the way down, it's really washed out. The more we bring the tone up, the more you're gonna bring that out in the pedal itself. You can hear a really great fuzz tone there. I even like it all the way up. This is a really nice sound. I think if we set it right around the 3 o'clock mark, level is just your volume, so you're gonna get a little louder. Anywhere at around noon's fine. When you turn all the way down, you lose everything, but anywhere past around noon should give you a good mix when you have the pedal on versus off. You're not getting too much louder, not getting a massive gain boost there. It just sounds really good. And then let's bring the fuzz up. Let's hear how much crazier this fuzz can go. Keep going. See, it gets a little hairier around the edges. But even with the fuzz all the way turned up, it never gets too over the top, gritty, gross, unusable like you would get on like a Fuzz Factory and certain things. Now you can also control the curve of this as well by using those little three little switches. Punch is going to give you a little bit of a bass boost. Good low in there, not over the top. Now sigh gives you a little bit more undertones. But when you play chords with it, see how it gets a little bit muddy and a little bit thicker on the bass side? If we bring the fuzz down a little, you just kind of lose some of that Now, where you can control this is with the volume knob on your guitar. If I turn my volume knob all the way down and then just bring it up just a little bit, that's at like a 1, bring it up to like a 3. Up to a 5. Up to a 7. All the way. So it does react really well to your volume knob. It really adapts to that. Now, if we scoop, this is your traditional scooped mids. Great for recording rhythm tracks. I think you lose something on the lead versus the Psi. See, when you take away the undertones there, it just leaves you a little bit drier. For a recording studio, I can totally see them wanting to scoop the mids to clean up the fuzz a little bit. But for everyday usage, I think I would sit in the Psi for lead, and then I would go with either scoop or punch for my rhythm tones to give you that kind of clean feel. But so for this demo, I think we're going to just stay in the Psi mode. We'll keep the tone right about here, the level right there, and then maybe back the fuzz off just a hair, just to give us a nice clean tone. Let's hear what that sounds like. And if I roll down my volume on my guitar, good. I think we can even roll down the treble just a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. Right about there, I think is perfect. But that's the fuzz side. That's not the exciting part of this pedal. The exciting part lies on the octave side, because I am a huge fan of octaves. I love the Digitech Whammy. Fans of the show know I play that a ton. But there is so much going on in this pedal, so many different sounds that you can get. I wanted to walk you through some of the craziness, and we're not going to go through everything because I think this is also something that I'd love to team up with Nate on over from Chords and Coffee, because he's really good at intervals and can speak to this a little bit better than I can. But what's cool is they've set up this rotary switch that allows you to introduce different intervals of octaves. Rather than just doing an octave up and an octave down, you can actually do different intervals. So I'm going to go through each one and I'll kind of show you. We're going to start over here on the right hand side where we've got the octave. Now you'll see a little switch right here. You have an octave up switch, an octave down switch, and then a dual mode in the middle. The middle is where I think this pedal shines at. The up and down do exactly what they say. If I've got this in the up position and I've got the octave on, when I play something, you're going to hear my original string and you're going to hear an octave up. If I turn to octave down, you're going to hear an octave down. If I put it in the middle, you're going to hear both. And if I have the blend knob all the way up, you're just going to hear that. The more I bring this back, the more you're going to hear my original. So you'll hear my original string and you'll hear that. Now when you introduce the fuzz into that, very Jack Whitey, like you can. Cool. That's pretty self-explanatory. The second switch, about the same. It's just taking you 2 octaves up or 2 octaves down or dual again. Cool? Neat. But here's where it gets crazy. This little booger right here, when we go down here, this is detuning. And detuning, I honestly had never really played with, but essentially what this is doing is creating a chorus effect. And you can detune up, you can detune down, or you can do both modes. So if I detune up, I'm not even going to turn on the fuzz. I'm just going to play like a simple like D chord. See how it's got that choral effect to it? If I turn to the down position, and if I turn it to the dual, this is where it gets magical. See having both of those elements moving up and down gives you almost like a Cure effect. Like, I really think that's a lot of the sound that you would hear in the Cure kind of music. And then when you mix in the fuzz with it, it's just insane. See, it's got that kind of Cure-esque feel. And then the rest of the switches as we go through essentially are creating different stages of octaves. And it does like major seconds mixed with a minor second up on like the M2. The M3 is like a major third and a minor third. P4 is a perfect fourth mixed with a minor seventh if you're using the dual mode. So you get these really crazy things, and they give you a little chart that you can download that actually shows you what they sound like. But I want to pay attention to a couple in particular. I'm going to go to my two favorites and show you those. So first, I want to show you the M3 position, because the M3 position is such a cool feature. This has got a little mix to it. So in the single modes, when you're going like up and down here, you've got up is a major third, down is down a major third, and then you in the middle mode, it actually activates kind of a cool effect, up a major third and up a perfect fifth. And what this does is create this crazy harmony that reminds me a lot of something you would hear on like a Queen album. If you listen to some of the old Queen records where they double tracked, you get this kind of cool octave effect. And I'll show you just clean sounding. It's kind of eh. But when we introduce fuzz to it, see how cool that sounds? It is such a wicked lead line. And for creating those Queen-esque tones, I've used like Digitech harmonizers before, and they just don't quite cut the mustard. And trying to do the double tracking like they did back then, it's a little bit of a pain in the rear. I think what Keeley has developed in here is such a cool way to do that, and it sounds amazing, just tweaking those little octaves a little bit. I love this setting, and I think the neat thing is you can use other drives in front of this. You'll notice I've got the fuzz turned off right now. I can bring in a different drive into here and get that same thing. So if I go over to my pedal board here and activate like my 1989 distortion, you can use other pedals in front of it too and allow that octave to give you that effect. So you don't have to just use the fuzz, but the fuzz is tuned to really work with these, so they do pair well together. Now I want to show you one of my favorite settings. We're going to go to the M6 setting. This thing is crazy. So in the dual mode, what this is doing is giving you up a minor fifth, or sorry, a flat fifth, and then up a, I think it's a diminished seventh if I remember right. I can't remember what the other one was, but it gives you this crazy weird sound that's akin to, like, I think of it like if I was gonna do like a Halloween score or like a scary movie, this would be kind of a fun thing. But also I think this would be fun like as a like middle of your set, you're having some fun, maybe you want to do a Scooby-Doo breakdown and do something just crazy and fun to entertain the audience. Check this sound out. Just that crazy horror movie, weird dissonance, like just crazy sound. You're not going to use that in a lot of songs, but that's fun. And that's what I like about the Octave Psi, is you can literally just twist those around and get to this fun sound and then go back into your cool chorus or go back into your cool harmony and have that set up for the next song with just the twist of a knob. So simple to use, so many fun sounds in here. I'm just so blown away by the different things that you can do to have fun with this. I think Keeley absolutely nailed it and gave us a fun pedal that's just so different. And there's lots more. I haven't covered everything in here today. You can add remotes to this. You can add controllers so you can create like a Digitech Whammy effect. There's lots of demos out there showing those special things, but I wanted to focus on these couple of features because it's something that's not getting talked a lot about in the other demos. And I think they're really, really great pluses, especially that harmonizer tool. I have yet to find a harmonizer that sounds that good. So well done, Keeley. This thing is freaking killer. Okay, I hope you enjoyed some of those sounds as much as I do. I know I am not a professional guitar player. I'm the guy who records stuff, but I like to let you hear some of these sounds because in a studio environment especially, this would be so much fun to create some different synth layers. And like, I want to test this on keyboards and on bass and all sorts of other instruments as well. But from a guitarist standpoint too, I think on stage, this is one of those handy pedals that takes up very little room. It's an amazing sounding fuzz on its own. And then you've got these extra octave effects. And anybody who's ever had like a Digitech Whammy, these are massive pedals. A Whammy, like the full size one like I use that has both sides on it, it's about this wide. So that takes up a lot of pedal board real estate. If you could stick one of these in an expression controller on your board and save a lot of room and be able to use that same kind of effect to get those whammy effects, but still also get the instant harmonization, the cool kind of ghost noises, the perfect fourth and fifth octaves, like there's so much variety here and so many cool ways to use this. I think this is going to be something that we hear on a lot of future albums and don't even realize we're listening to it. This is one of those pedals that I think will stand the test of time and be something that everybody wants to have in their toolkit, be you a professional touring guitarist or just somebody like me with a studio that likes to do different effects and have some different fun. This is the perfect pedal for that. And at the price point that it's at, I think Keeley knocked it out of the park. I would highly recommend this to any fuzz heads out there or to anybody who's into octaves and wants to experiment with this and maybe doesn't have a Digitech Whammy already and wants to get some of those sounds too. Like, you can do a lot of fun stuff with this. And make sure to check out the other demos out there too, because like I said, this is just a small smattering of some of the things that you can do with this. There's lots. I could make an hour and a half long video, but nobody has time for that. So let's take it in small chunks and let you hear some of them. I'll also mess around this on our Instagram channel this fall as well. So please give us a follow over there at What's This Button Do Dustin over on Instagram, and I'll be posting some demos of this mixed with some other pedals later on. And also thanks to my friends at Palen for helping me to get one of these so we could check it out here in the studio. I really appreciate all your help and for hosting us each and every week. We really appreciate it. Well, thank you all for coming out this week. Next week, we're going to have some more pedal fun over here. So please join us back next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. We'll see you then. Take care and have a wonderful week.